So a movie about the day in the life of Jason Voorhees. I ain't mad at it. So In a Violent Nature is a brand new slasher horror film from Icy Films and Shudder. Man, Shudder is kind of on a roll right now. Props to them. The film is directed by Chris Nash and it stars Ryan Barrett and Andrea Pavlik. When a group of teens take a locket from a collapsed fire tower in the woods, they unwittingly resurrect the rotting corpse of Johnny, a vengeful spirit spurred on by a horrific 60-year-old crime. The undead killer soon embarks on a bloody rampage to retrieve the stolen locket, slaughtering anyone who gets in his way. Now, with this being a slasher horror film, the first thing we have to address are the kills. And ladies and gentlemen, the kills in here are good. For the most part, the kills in this movie are, quite imaginative. The kills in this movie range in 3 different levels. You have level 1, which is, that was cool, but I kind of wanted more out of that. Then level 2, nice. And then level 3. Oh, Jesus Christ, what the? There is one particular kill in this whole movie that I don't think I will ever see anything like that ever again. Like, imagine seeing the most gruesome, most grotesque, most disturbing Mortal Kombat fatality you have ever seen, but imagine it in reality. And there are a couple of kills that come after that movie, which I thought was pretty cool, but none of them really captured the level of insanity that one kill did. Also, all of the kills in this movie are practical, so I want to give more props to that because I feel like if it was CGI, I probably would have said, oh, ew, that's gross. But the use of practicality made it more effective. So I really do appreciate that. In fact, this movie is a love letter to the practicality that you would see in horror films. As far as the killer goes, Johnny, I kind of liked him. When Johnny first pops up on screen, immediately you're going to compare him to Jason Voorhees. And arguably, he kind of is. Would I call Johnny an iconic character? No, but I think as time goes on, more people will grow to appreciate the character. But I did like the design and his choice of weaponry in this movie. I thought it was pretty cool. But I think what makes this movie special is not just the use of practical effects and also the incredible use of makeup and prosthetics. It is looking at a horror film from the perspective of the killer. So from the trailer, you already know that the movie is told from the perspective of the killer. And I thought that was genius. In fact, I'm shocked that we haven't had a horror film do that already. Sure, we've seen certain scenes that's told from the perspective of the killer, but the entire movie as a whole, or at least 90 to 95% of the movie, I don't think we have. So I really admire the approach of this movie. So you're seeing Johnny all the way from the moment he rises up from the ground to him just slowly walking menacingly to his next victim. I feel like some people may not like it because there are rather some prolonged shots of him just walking, like just straight walking, like bro was taking a whole stroll. And with the movie being told from the perspective of the killer, I love how the movie does a callback to a very famous trope that you see in a lot of slasher films, or really horror films at that, where you will see the victim just running for their lives and the killer is just slowly walking towards them. I always found that trope to be hilarious because imagine you were just running for your life and you see the killer just walking, as if he's walking his dog in the park. Classic. And this movie has some pretty good intensity as well. When you see him just slowly walking towards his prey and you're just waiting for him to strike, I thought that built a lot of great tension because, like, you know it's coming, but you don't know when exactly. And I love when a movie can perfectly execute that. I did enjoy the story, even though it's pretty basic and simple. I was fine with it. To tell you the truth, I really came just for the kills. I'm not gonna lie. And the movie does a speed run of the lore behind Johnny and what led to essentially him becoming that. And although I did appreciate the lore behind Johnny, I kind of wish they did a little bit more with that. If I could be honest, the biggest problem that I had with this movie were the survivors. I, honest to God, couldn't care about any of those characters. Not even the final girl. In fact, all of these characters were just bait for the killer. Again, I didn't care about them. I didn't feel connected to them. In fact, the dialogue for the survivors was kind of terrible. The dialogue wasn't bad because it was cheesy, but rather it just felt so unrealistic and over the top. There is a moment of dialogue between two characters that I have to talk about real quick because it was just dreadful. So early on in the movie, we have our group of teens, and they're all gathered around the campfire, you know, talking, cracking jokes, blah, blah, blah. One of the female characters tells one of the male characters, hey, your dad is a pedo. And then that one male character says, well, it doesn't count if I forgave him. Bro, what?
You're a victim.
I went to an early access screening for this movie, and when I tell you that nobody laughed during that scene, nobody laughed. In fact, I don't even think anybody reacted during that moment because, y'all, how do you react to something like that? I don't know how that made it in the final cut. Like, that sounds like some shit you would hear in The Idol. And ladies and gentlemen, that is not a compliment. But in the end, y'all, In a Violent Nature is a one-of-a-kind horror experience. I was entertained by the kills, and I was fascinated by seeing the movie from the killer's perspective. As far as telling a horror film from the perspective of the killer, we could use some more of that. So, plugging In a Violent Nature. Into the rank system, I am placing this one into the pinnacle zone. This movie is not going to be for everyone. In fact, it's going to be a mixed bag for a lot of people. And I can't wait to see y'all thoughts and reviews. But yeah, y'all, that is pretty much my review for In a Violent Nature. Let me know down in the comment section below what you guys thought about the film. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Who would win in a fight, Johnny or Jason Voorhees? I think we already know the answer to that question. But whatever you thought, let me know down in the comment section below. And as always, guys, leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. And I will see you all in the next one.